Stiffness and suspension component loads. What's a vehicle suspension? A symphonic band has a different components that works together for producing harmonic music. Every part of the band is important. If one of the instruments fails, all the symphonic band sounds strange and horrible. As a symphonic band, the suspension car functions in the same way. All the suspension parts work together for the vehicle has an stable behavior. Suspension is the system of springs, shock absorbers, and linkages that connects a vehicle to its wheels and allows related motions between the two. These are some of the parts of the vehicle suspension: shock absorber and spring, steering link, car frame, and lower control arm. All these parts work together as a system that will absorb the energy of the vertical accelerated wheel, allowing the frame and body to ride undisturbed while the wheels follow bumps in the roads. Vehicle suspension terms. The spring rate is a component that contracts and stretches in order to absorb the sudden movements of a truck. In more specific definition, it's a component in setting the vehicle right weight or its location in the suspension stroke. Wheel rate is basically the spring rate, but measured at the wheel instead of where the spring attached to the linkages. Grid rate. The grid rate is defined as the vertical force per unit vertical displacement of the tail road contact with respect to chassis. Types of suspensions. We have two types of suspensions: the front or rear suspensions. In these presentations, we covered the front suspensions, that it will be short long alarm and McPherson strut, twin I-beam and solid I-beam. McPherson strut. This suspension is a very popular and efficient form of suspension. It has one control arm and a strut assembly. A coil springs and shock absorber will normally form parts of the strut assembly. Coil springs may be mounted on the control arm instead of being around the strut. On this type, the shock absorber connects the notch to the frame. Short and long arm suspension. This type of suspensions provide for an independent suspension system. It's very efficient, and the camber and caster angles remain fairly constant over bumps. Arm connect to frame with rubber bushes. Finally, we present the forces in vehicle suspensions. In a vehicle suspensions, we have 5 forces acting in the wheel. The sprung mass, that is in the top of the diagram, suspensions, that is the follows, and sprung mass, tire, and rope.